For the first time in Aotearoa, a case has been taken against the government over climate change. Hamilton law student Sarah Thomson's case, become famous, against the Minister of Climate Change has been on just next door at the High Court. So I want to go around the panel. What do you think about this? She's arguing the government needs to do more to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Can we do more? Let's start with this end here, David Clark. What do you make of what the government's doing on climate change?
Absolutely, we can do more. There's a big opportunity for New Zealand in the transition to low emissions technologies.
So what would Labor do if they get in?
We would commit to a real plan of action. We could have an independent climate
what does that mean,
organisation that has a plan, carbon budgets, independent climate commission to see whether we're actually on track or not. That's what's lacking right now, is some independent body to see whether we're actually credible and what the government's doing is credible. And currently, it just is not.
You're in power. You're in government. What's happening here?
Listen, we've joined a group, a cross-party group called Globe. They have commissioned a report to say if we want to be carbon neutral in this country, what do we need to do? They've given us a number of recommendations, including reducing stock.
Reducing stock?
Yeah, reducing stock
So
on
getting
farms.
rid of the cows like this?
Absolutely. Why would you not? Of course we would want to do those things. I think that we take
because that's the backbone of the economy. That's why would you not? That's what we're built on.
No, but if we are torturing our land and polluting our rivers, then none of that money is any good to us if we have to keep putting it back into our rivers to clean them up. But wait on. The one thing I do believe is that the islands are the ones who inherit our decisions. They are the ones who will be left without a place to stand, and they should lead this discussion, and we should follow their lead.
What does Winston think? What does New Zealand First think about this, Ron?
Well, we think... There's a cheeky monkey in
there.
No.
What does New Zealand First think about climate change? You don't hear a lot about climate change from New Zealand First.
Well, that's because you guys don't spend enough time talking to us, but never mind. But look, we said right from the outset that setting up the emissions trading scheme was creating a new currency for financial traders in Wall Street, and it would be ineffective. Guess what? It's ineffective. It doesn't work. So what we've said, look, are we doing enough? $26 million per year on research into climate change. This is the government's figures and Marama's figures. $1.4 billion per year Marama is going to pay to the climate change for what?
Right.
We haven't made any headway. We would say, take that $1.4 billion and invest it in mitigation and research here in New Zealand.
Would you reduce stock? Would you get rid of the cows?
Well, it's interesting to hear Marama say that she's going to go and tell to FOMA, to Wairarapa Moana Incorporation, to PKW, and tell them to all destock. Māori business, Māori. Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
That's destock.
Sarah.
So Māori businesses are going to be fuming over that.
I want to talk to National MP. Sarah, you're from Invercargill, from a farming area. Are you in support? Hang on, guys. Are you in support of reducing stock? Do we need to? Yeah, mic's not working. Have we got an extra mic here? Use that one.
The argument is actually... Working?
Yeah,
okay. Sorry, the argument is actually being held in Southland at the moment because we're going through our Land and Water Forum plan, and that's looking at placing limits on catchments based on environmental limits and the like. But the other thing that we have to do is make sure that we do this in a staged way so that we don't disrupt our economic growth, creating jobs and wealth for people.
We're the 7th worst on emissions amongst industrial companies. We're not really doing our bit, are we? That's the problem.
We're absolutely doing our bit. We're investing heavily into R&D, and that is a good thing, into agriculture to make sure that we can bring our emissions
trading scheme. That's a starting point.
Permanent forestation.
Hang on, we'll come to you. Sarah, keep that microphone. Let's go to our guest.
Well, actually, we've got the law student from Hamilton, Sarah Thomson, here. So nice to have you at backbenchers. Firstly, did you actually think you'd win the court case? I mean, you're going against the New Zealand government.
Well, we don't find out whether we win or not until for a few months, but I feel like it's already been a win because the government has had to stand there in court in front of a judge and try and justify how it's set its targets, and that's just an amazing thing to see.
You're a full-time law student. Like, what was the motivation for you to do this?
I want to see the government take climate change seriously and show that it cares about future generations, my generation, my kids' generation, and I'm not seeing that at the moment. This is so urgent, we can't delay.
So you find out in a couple of months. Do you think you've got a chance?
once again, that's totally in the judge's hands. But, you know, the judge was listening, and we talked about tokolo. We talked about human rights, intergenerational equity, and the judge listened and had a conversation with us. So once again, that is just a win to be listened to.
Do you think that cows should be banned from New Zealand? Or maybe not banned. Do you think we should reduce our cows?
Look, my case isn't about how exactly we get there to reduce our emissions, but I definitely think that is something that we need to consider.
It's interesting because we've got some Greenpeace people here who think that, you agree before as well, that we should reduce the amount of cows in New Zealand.
Yeah, I mean, cows are lovely, but there's just too many of them, and they're contaminating our rivers, and the research shows it could be making us sick as well.
Someone totally disagrees with you over there in the audience. I mean, we've got such a massive dairy industry here. Wouldn't that ruin our dairy industry?
Not at all. I mean, economists themselves are saying that we need to cut cow numbers because there are farmers out there who are making a better profit with fewer cows on the land. And it's just, yeah, we just need to get there. We've got too many cows right now.
So we'd lose money? You'd take a pay cut just for it?
No, that's not the case at all. Actually, there's a lot of farmers who are cutting cow numbers and still making a better profit because if you think about it, fewer cows, fewer costly inputs, it's actually better for the economy. So it's good news.
Hey, a round of applause for these guys here. Fantastic. Thanks for coming along tonight, eh? Very, very good. And to Sarah as well. And also, Charlotte, go into the audience here and find out there was a highly respectful little bullshit that was said there. So quite keen to sort of get that. But what did you... There you go.
We've got another familiar
Oh,
face
here we
actually
go.
here. Hello there. No.
No. Not anymore.
He was very vocal one time
Not
in front
anymore.
of the TV. You're his father. You just called BS. What do you think?
Well, I'd actually challenge these people to actually say, when was the last time they actually went out on a farm and actually went and saw this? Had they ever been to the Balanced Farm Environment Awards? We've got the best, and like I was in the Manawatu, and I tell you what, that place is just gorgeous. And I looked at those rivers, and they're flowing pristine and pure. And I challenge these people to actually get off their backsides, get out of the cities, and get into the countryside.
All right. Quickly around the panel on what David said there, David Clark.
Look, we know there are cases where effluent is going
Have
into
you got off your backside and gone round to the countryside?
I have, and I've seen it for myself. And there's good practice out there. The man's right, there is good practice out there too. But agriculture should be in the scheme. If it's not in the scheme, that is subsidising other players in the industrial sector.
Have you got off your backside and gone round to see the real deal on the farms?
Absolutely, because what we do is we go and put Manawa Te Wai funding in the hands of people who have bid for it all around this country to help clean up the rivers that they've polluted. We also need to think about permanent forestation so we don't have that silt running down into our rivers. Last thing, I went down to Waimate. The land itself literally stank from the rank of pollution and not even just river. You can call whatever you want, but I was there and I couldn't even wind the window down.
What did you make of that comment there?
Of that comment there?
Yeah.
Look, I think it's a fair comment. People out here have got a lot to say about what farmers should and shouldn't do. It's really interesting. If we're talking climate change and emission control, how many people came here in a car? How many came in public transport? How many flew here to Wellington in a plane? And go and have a look at what farmers... No, I'm not going to finish. Go and have a look what farmers are doing. I have been involved in farming for 2 decades with Māori agribiz, and I've seen the environmental awards and I've seen the work they've done. They continue to get bagged and rubbished by people with idealistic views.
Move on. Sarah,
and they need to give credit to them.
New Zealand emissions 24% higher than 1990 levels. Denmark 23% below. What are we doing wrong?
Oh, well, we're outlawing our HVs. What are they? Oh, I can't even remember now. Yeah, those things that spray. Hydrofluorocarbons. There you go.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.